All right, what's good, people? This is another show, More with Devin. Appreciate everybody's support, and hope I'm continually giving some value to you guys and making it happen in a positive way for you. So today we're gonna do a Q&A. So I'm gonna talk about the importance of being able to be resilient emotionally as well as physically, and how that can benefit your life. So we'll go ahead and jump into this and get this party started. So when it comes to, I actually made a post, reference to this today, actually, reference to these perspectives. And I'm realizing that a lot of times, so a quote, one of the quotes that my son, said to me when we have our like deep, conversations, and he said, it's better to feel the pain of trying than the pain of failure than the pain of not trying. And, what's interesting about that is no matter what, success is always, tied to failure. Any person that reaches great heights, they have to fail their way to get there. Even a baby, you know what I'm saying? When we start to walk, we don't learn how to walk just immediately. We crawl, then we stand up, we fall down, and then we, walk a couple of steps, fall down again, hurt our knee, all kind of stuff. But, a baby never, if a human being has the capacity, the physical capacity to be able to walk, there's no human that's never not went through that whole process and is walking today. It's billions of people on this earth that walk. And but it's interesting how as we get older, we start to feel these failures, and then we quit, and then we never get to our fullest potential. We gain this wisdom, have all this intellectual capacity, but then things that happen in our lives make us like be very weary of any kind of discomfort, and then we really never reach our truest potential. And you know what I'm saying? And I think to myself, one of the worst things is to have to see and feel the pain of not being where you want to be, and just having to live in that perpetually, or something that you need to overcome continually recycles in your life and continues to bring pain to you over and over and over because you don't want to address it. Or some physical thing where you're in the gym and you don't want to, the fact that you're winded, or the fact that you are your muscles are sore, or you realize that when you lift in weights you're weaker than the people around you. Like, that should give you motivation to continually move forward. And I'm not specifically trying to say that you need to induce acute pain on yourself and injure yourself. That's actually the opposite. This kind of pain, you need to deal with it and face it with love. What I'm saying? But at the same time, acknowledge that it's there, what I'm saying, so you can get stronger. And it's a passage in the Bible says, "Let the weak man say, I am strong." So if you think about that, that's realizing that this is really where I am, but then having a vision of where you want to be, and allowing that manifestation to happen, through you moving towards it with your actions, your feelings, and your thoughts. And I'm realizing that's the key to really getting to where you need to be. And it's a lot of people, whether that's, like I said, whether physically or mentally, once we feel hit a certain barrier, like what I'm saying, like it triggers us and we avoid. And it's maybe way more potential that we have beyond that, and we never fully get to it because we let that, as soon as we feel that tension that hurts, whatever reason it is, something from our past, a reason, we're not actually, we're in a place of weakness from not pushing ourselves to whatever capacity. You hit this barrier, and then it makes people just wild out where they don't overcome, what I'm saying? And they react in ways that maybe seem strong, but they're actually weak reactions. And it just continues to perpetuates. And then it seems like, it's, circumstance that has that person there, or, bad luck. But really, it's something internal, and it's a pain point that they don't want to deal with. And I'm realizing, man, what I'm saying, they really have to sit with your emotions and sit with, the things that you need to change. Or going to the gym and being super sore, that is not fun. But I promise you, what I have continually found out is some of the worst feelings, some of the worst pains, if you can, deal with it from a place of love, what I'm saying, compassion with yourself, forgiveness, or, directly moving towards it and investigating why it's there, from a non-judgmental place. Man, on the other side, man, there's so many gifts. There's so much, growth. There's so many things that are just waiting for you, but you gotta overcome that pain. And then from there, that pain will turn into power. What I'm saying? That strength will turn into weakness. So just want to put that out there. So if there's something that you're going through, you're not being able to, move forward with, you got to figure out a solution to, figure out why you can't get through it. And when you do feel those feelings that make you want to go backwards or make you want to like, get out of your character, you got to learn how to stay still. You got to learn how to like investigate it and, move towards it from a place of love. And even on the same level as an injury, let's say you have like a nagging injury, like a knee pain. You know what I'm saying? Like your knee hurts. And even me as a coach, I used to coach people where I would like help them avoid not using that knee and, you know what I'm saying, do exercises like, more hip dominant exercises so they're not really having to bend their knee. But then, I realized that what happens when that person's in an environment where they have to use their knee's going to be super weak. And they're going to mess it up even worse. But if you, face that problem with love where you don't push that knee harder than what it needs to be pushed, you put it in an environment where it can, you can get some knee bend, you can get some blood flow, and then you get a little bit more range of motion, a little bit more range of motion. And then before you know it, a person who has like extreme issues is now, 100%, has 100% ability to use their knee because they gradually got stronger, worked with where they are, understood where they were, and didn't try to push past what was possible for them. And like I said, like facing their pain with love. And if you do that, you can it's amazing. Some of the worst circumstances you could be in, you just face it little by little. Before you know it, you've overcome it. So hope that can give you guys some advice. This is some things that I've learned, and I've been able to see people connected to me be able to do the same thing. So we'll go ahead and get into these questions now. All right. So our first question that we have is it possible to drink too much water? So, it's too much of anything is bad, but most likely the average person, especially if you're working out, isn't drinking too much water. But I think it's like 0.67 times your body weight is like a good place to go when it comes to the amount of water that you need to drink. But then from there, or like I think it's maybe like 0.67 times your body weight. And then from there, somewhere around like 100 ounces to a gallon of water. If you're working out pretty intensely, you're sweating, you're doing cardio, that's a good like rule of thumb. It'll be a good amount of hydration for you. But let's just say you're drinking 3 gallons or 4 gallons of water or something like that. Then you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you can like get water poisoning, especially if you're not using the bathroom. So like you got to do something crazy extreme to get to that space. But then from there, another good indicator, like if your pee is like super, super clear, then like you're overhydrated where it's just flushing out of you. So, have like a little tint to your urination and, but main thing, your mouth shouldn't be dry. And, you should be able to, you shouldn't be catching cramps. So, just a rule of thumb, drinking, even like 8 ounces of water, just consistently drinking water for taste where, like I said, your mouth isn't dry, then that'd be a good place to start. And then as you start to increase your activity, you sweat more, you need to increase your water. But even within that, one of the most important things with water is making sure that you replace your sodium as well. Because a lot of times, people don't realize when they sweat, they're sweating out their sodium too, sweating out the salt. So, all right, so next question, coffee, how many cups is okay? So I think that, one of the biggest things is, it's going to be your personal tolerance. But from there, are you drinking decaf? Are you drinking like, Pike or whatever that stuff, like light coffee, medium coffee, dark coffee, the amount of, caffeine is the main issue when it comes to how much coffee you're drinking because the caffeine, how it affects your body. And I would say, probably somewhere around like, 2 to 3 cups, throughout the day is probably anything over that, can start to have issues with the amount of caffeine, depending on the amount of caffeine that's in that coffee, if it's just like traditional coffee. But then from there, the biggest thing, more than anything with that, is making sure that, probably after, you don't want to drink coffee probably after 5 p.m. because it affects your sleep. And that's one of the biggest issues. And then there's some people and studies that show that, frequent, chronic coffee drinkers start to have like adrenal issues. But, I'm not sure, like there's a science on both ends between what that really means. But there are people who they kind of mess up their rhythm within their body where it doesn't function and like they can't sleep right and, they're tired or, super, lethargic from drinking too much coffee for too long. So, but that's just relative to that person's sensitivity. But more than anything, the best thing is to, make sure that you stop drinking coffee, probably around like 5 p.m. so you can be able to like get some good restful sleep and not be too up and, mess up your sleep pattern at nighttime. And then now, next one, how to prolong my youth. So one of the most important, what I'm finding like the fountain of youth that people don't really realize is that, not exactly, genes definitely do play a role in caffeine. Some people drink caffeine and like they get tired. Actually, they get more lethargic. And there's some people drink a little caffeine and they're just going crazy. They can't even handle it. They have levels of anxiety. So, and definitely metabolism as well too. So that's a great point, Jennifer. So then from there, when it comes to how to prolong your youth, what I'm seeing, this is things that I'm learning, as I continue to learn and be within the fitness and health industry, resistance training and protein, making sure you get the right amount of protein and the right amount of resistance training. Because the issue that happens that people don't realize, when an old person who can't walk up the steps or doesn't have balance, you can't, think to yourself, I'm going to work on my balance by working on my balance and like getting on a physio ball or standing on one foot. That's really not the issue. It's the fact that you are losing muscle, and you're losing, your muscle tissue, your skeletal muscle is reducing. And when that happens, it messes up your metabolic rate. Your body starts to just wither away. Your joints and ligaments are, weak. You can't move. You're super clumsy. And then from there, boom, you fall. What people don't realize, like, one of the leading causes of death is people falling and then like breaking a bone, and then that bone doesn't heal, and then now it creates an infection, and then the person is not living anymore. And it's rooted in that person not being able to function and move the right way. And then from there, on the other level, when your body composition, changes like that, like I'm sure people have seen those like x-rays where, it shows a person's like thigh, and one person's thigh is like this much muscle and then this much fat. But then another person got the same size of a thigh and they got this much muscle and this much fat. And, that's a lot of weight to carry, and that's a lot of weakness. And, when a body gets to that level, metabolism starts to reduce, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just downhill from there. So if you're older, got bad joints, and you got like weak muscles, you can't get off the ground, you fall, you can't catch yourself. So like one of the most important things, even beyond just like losing body fat, is maintaining enough muscle tissue to be able to continue to function in old age. So, you know what I'm saying? If you want to continue to live, and then from there, making sure that you're eating right, making sure that, internally your body is healthy by, having nutrient dense foods, staying away from, foods that are high in carcinogenic type foods, and things that are, are going to cause issues like fried foods and things of that nature. Lots of alcohol, smoking. So, just living an overall well lifestyle, and then making sure that you maintain, muscle mass. And you know what I'm saying? It ain't even about being a bodybuilder. It's about just being able to function, where you can walk from point A to point B. Like, you can get off of your couch without having to rock. You know what I'm saying? Your knees is not cracking, and your bones is not brittle because they're so weak. And we can get away with that stuff when we're younger, but then as we age and get older, it comes to a point where like it's like a fork in the road, like a post that I made, where if you didn't do the right things, you got to like uphill battle. And a lot of times people, they wait too long to move in that direction, and it's just a compound effect where they just feel like they can't even do anything, and it just becomes a part of their new normal, where like they just can't function when it was something that possibly they could have been able to, reverse, or could have kept in a good space. And I'm being able to see this with clients that train in my gym, like on a whole different level. It's like, I can't even imagine, like, these women and men, some of these people are like pure, real deal athletes. And when they initially started, they were not like that. And they are functioning at a high level, higher than when people in their 20s and 30s. And these people are in their 60s. And this is real stuff. And then I have even, a client that's in her 70s and, had a bad knees and, had anxiety walking at the steps. And now she's just making moves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's just a young lady, body composition changing, and she's living her life when she's in her 70s. So like, even at that age, you can reverse those issues if you put the work in the right kind of way. And like I said, so that's going to happen through, making sure you get enough protein so you can build muscle tissue, and then making sure that you're resistance training, and then having like an overall, well diet that's, lots of fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, and staying away from the bad things. So I would say, in my opinion, in Devin's opinion, that will be the fountain of youth. And then next question, exercising and dieting through menopause. So what I know with women and just in general, and even I've like looked at some studies when it comes to this, like a really good diet during menopause is like a low carb diet. So like a diet that's, moderate to high protein, and then, like a solid amount of protein for your specific weight, and then like a moderate to high fat content, and then low carb. And, like a lot of women's bodies, even like, when it comes to competing and things of that nature, like women tend to like, do better with higher fat diets than men. And it's just not to say that all women are like that, because I've coached women who've had high amounts of carbohydrates and they lose weight in an amazing way. But just overall, women tend to do better with their, a higher fat diet. And then during menopause, it's been shown that that's like a good diet for that time period. But then from there, training and, eating correctly, like a healthy diet and working out does reduce, the menopause, symptoms. So, just working out from a general place is a beneficial thing if you are going through menopause. And then our last question is, whey protein on a regular basis good or bad? So that's a great question. So the way I look at it, whey protein is just a supplement for you to be able to get the extra protein in that you need, but you shouldn't, think to yourself, like, I'm just going to replace real food with protein, because there are people who will say, oh man, I'm going to have a protein shake for breakfast, have a protein shake for lunch, have a protein shake for dinner, and then they're barely eating. And what that does is just gets you out of your system and your habits of like eating lean, nutrient-dense foods, because it's not just about like, oh, I'm just going to take this protein in because it's super simple. You want to have like a balanced diet, and like then from there, the whey protein is there to help you get extra protein in, because you already got your diet set and on point. And or like if you're running late, or you need to you missed your meal, like the whey protein there, and there's nothing inherently bad about it. It's just that in my opinion, I think that it's best to learn and focus on nutrient-dense foods. You know what I'm saying? It's just better for your body. You know what I'm saying? Even though whey protein, does have a high bioavailability when it comes to absorption of protein and like increasing protein synthesis. But, in my opinion, I think that, things have been set up in an order where, this universe knows what we need, and it's been working in a really well way. So like foods that are whole, nutrient dense, your body just tends to, respond better overall. And I'm saying there's going to be less side effects and issues. And some people, they drink protein, they get the bubble guts and all kind of stuff like that. But that is from like the the milk content. But sometimes people even like the artificial sugar and things of that nature. I've had people have issues when they drink it. It just doesn't respond to their body for some particular reason, because of the different chemical makeup that's in it. But more than anything, whey protein isn't bad. It's an awesome thing. It's a great tool to help you be able to make sure that you hit your numbers, as well as protein. Whey protein many times is high in protein, low in carbohydrates, and low in fat. So it makes it where it's easy to fit within your goals for the day. If you have like whether that's macros, where you have protein, fats, and carbs that you're hitting, or if you have a protein goal and total calorie goal, it makes it easy to be able to fit that in a really efficient way, as well as it's very convenient, easy to drink. So I highly recommend protein drinks to my clients. But then at the same time, we need to eat real food. You need to have real food. You need to eat. You need to chew and like get some vegetables, get some lean sources of protein, or if you're vegan, whatever kind of protein you choose to have, tempeh and soy and all that kind of stuff. You need to eat food and like get into that habit, because it's all about the habits long term. Like, yeah, you maybe can lose weight in a month drinking, nothing but protein shakes. Yeah, you'll lose weight, but you're not going to do that forever. So it's better to figure out a system that you can sustain over a duration of time. And you want to like have that system together, and then add those things around it that complement your lifestyle overall. Whether that's, having a cheat meal, or, having things, extra barbecue sauce or pizza for the night, or having a drink. But then 80% of the time, 90% of the time, you got this system that you're sticking with, and you can depend on that system because it's something that you've done over a duration of time. And then the same thing with, whey protein, even though it's like more beneficial and helping you, make progress. But you need a system of foods that you're eating over a duration of time that is nutrient dense, and that are, rooted in, that have minerals and vitamins and fiber and things of that nature. But then the protein is just an addition to that to help enhance what you're doing. So hope that answers that question. What's up, Charles? Hope that answers that question. If you guys have any other questions real quick, if somebody sends me something, I'll go ahead and answer it. But if not, then I really appreciate everybody that's on here. How you doing, Jenny Martin, Killer Key, Killer Kev? What up, Simply Lou? We got Jarethro Viking. Appreciate you guys' support and listening to me. I really appreciate it. Taking your time out of the day to hear what I got to say. And I hope that I was able to bring some value to you. And if you have any kind of questions, whether you DM me or we'll have like the questions to be able to add on Facebook. Please send those questions to me, and the best way that I can answer them, I'll be there for you guys. So, but as I always say, remember what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. All right, peace, guys.